Busch Gardens Tampa is almost definitely in the early stages of planning a secret 2024 coaster, and I think that new coaster could be their best coaster yet. Yup, that's right. I think this new coaster could even have a shot at taking the crown from Gwazi. Busch Gardens Tampa is already making major changes to their park in what seems to be preparation for their largest and most expensive coaster yet, coming in 2024. Busch Gardens Tampa's most recent coaster opened in 2022, delayed from 2020. 4 out of the 5 Seaworld parks opened new roller coasters in 2022, and Busch Gardens Tampa was one of them. For 2023, the Seaworld chain purchased a bunch more roller coasters at their other parks, but Busch Gardens Tampa got an S&S Scream and Swing. Now there are already a bunch of new rumored coasters coming to Seaworld parks for 2024, and it only makes sense that Busch Gardens Tampa will be getting a massive new coaster next year. Seaworld knows good and well that Gwazi was a massive success, and they'll want to continue building on that. 2024 marks 2 full years since Gwazi's official opening and 4 years since it was originally intended to open. Busch Gardens Tampa is definitely due for a new coaster, but there's another reason I think will make them almost guaranteed to get a new coaster in 2024. Universal's Epic Universe is supposed to be opening in early 2025. The park looks to be one of the greatest parks in the country and will feature some of the most incredible coasters in Florida, if not the world. With Epic Universe opening in 2025, no other Florida park wants to open their new coaster in 2025, because it will get fully overshadowed by this massive new amusement park opening nearby. Universal's Epic Universe may also very possibly open up in stages, and that could possibly cause the massive hype on Epic Universe to last through 2026. That means if Busch Gardens Tampa wants to open a major coaster and experience success like they did with Gwazi, they're going to want to do it now in 2024 before Epic Universe opens. That would also make it so that the next coaster they open after the one in 2024 wouldn't have to come until a few years after Epic Universe opens, once all the hype would have already died down. Besides the fact that Busch Gardens Tampa is due for a new coaster in 2024, and that 2024 is the perfect year for them to get a new coaster, there are other reasons why I think this coaster will become a reality for Busch Gardens in 2024. Busch Gardens Tampa seems to be preparing to remove their Wild Mouse clone Sand Serpent, and they look to be relocating a few rides from that area of the park. That would free up a massive chunk of land that would allow room for a station and lift hill of a potential new coaster. Theme Park Predictions has a great video on this, and it goes into detail on the exact measurements of everything, as well as leaked documents showing the park's plans for a Sand Serpent. So be sure to check out his video after you finish watching this one. When parks remove a coaster, they are usually very quick to replace it, and when they remove Sand Serpent, they will likely want to add a new coaster right away. Overall, everything is aligned for a new roller coaster coming to Busch Gardens Tampa in 2024. Busch Gardens Tampa's 2024 coaster will truly be insane. I think the new coaster will be one of the best, if not the best coaster in the world. The most talked about model for Busch Gardens Tampa's next roller coaster has been the B&M Giga Coaster. B&M's Giga Coaster model is one of the best coaster models to ever come out, and they are one of the most popular roller coaster types amongst park guests. Fury 325 opened at Carowinds in 2015, and it truly changed the park forever. B&M's Giga Coasters are quite expensive, but they are well worth the price. Not only can a Giga Coaster appeal to the general public looking with its intimidating height and speed, B&M Gigas are also extremely popular with roller coaster enthusiasts. In classic B&M fashion, the Giga model is a crowd eater, and that has the ability to cycle through a ton of riders an hour. Besides the capacity the Giga model offers to parks, it is also an extremely reliable people eater and can not only help draw more guests to the park, but it can also help shorten some of the other lines on other coasters at the park, as many guests will instead be waiting in line for the incredible B&M Giga. Building a B&M Giga sounds like a real no-brainer, but it's really not that easy. These coasters are extremely expensive and can be a lot harder to get approved due to the height these coasters reach. We've seen B&M Gigas that have become some of the most popular coasters in the world, and others that haven't seen as much success. If a B&M Giga is done right, it can be the most popular coaster at its park, but if it's done in a lazy way like Kings Island, you end up with a B&M Giga Coaster that people like just as much as a hyper coaster. Busch Gardens Tampa's 2024 coaster really has a ton of potential, especially if it's a B&M Giga. I think if Busch Gardens gets the approval to build a coaster this tall, they'll go all out. I think they'll build a 350-foot B&M Giga coaster that would instantly become the best B&M coaster in existence and potentially even the best coaster in the world. I think they'd have B&M design a super unique layout similar to Fury's, and I think the coaster would be a massive success for the park. I'm honestly surprised we aren't hearing more people talk about this potential 2024 coaster. Busch Gardens Tampa may be about to build a better Fury 325, and it could be one of the most important coasters we see open in the next decade. It's been a while since we've seen a B&M Giga Coaster open, and it looks like we're on the horizon of one of the best Giga Coasters to ever open in history. But Busch Gardens Tampa isn't the only park that may be about to open a B&M Giga. I have an entire video on where I think the next B&M Giga Coaster could open in North America, and it's a video you most definitely won't want to miss.